What's going on, guys? It is your boy Junior from PNP Customs coming back at you with another video. Today we have a 2018 Nissan Armada. What we're going to do here is we're going to be installing a radio upgrade that also kind of works as an interior update as well, because it's going to change the air vents and it's going to change kind of the look of the interior, making it look a lot more modern. We'll talk a little more about that. Before we get there, I do want to apologize. I think it's been like 3 months since I've posted. You guys were probably thinking that we went out of business or something like that. Thankfully, no, God has blessed us with a lot of work. But me personally, I had to give up on YouTube for those couple of months because I was studying college. I was in my last semester, was struggling a bit, I'm not gonna lie, so I had to stop doing YouTube because editing after school and editing after work, it was quite time consuming. So I really wanted to focus a lot more on school. Now that I'm done, I graduated with my associates, I can now focus more on this stuff. So you guys will start seeing a lot more videos. So that's a little explanation on where I've been. But yeah, I'm super excited to showcase this radio. First, before I show you guys the actual unit that we're going to be installing for this client, the cool thing is that he's actually pretty local. Believe it or not, it's quite rare to get some local clients here. I'm getting used to people coming from far away. But yeah, this guy was very local, so he didn't have a problem leaving the vehicle. He literally just walked home. But yeah, so he's doing this for his son. Now, this is a 2018 vehicle, and we can tell that this is very outdated. This kind of looks like the interior of like a 2009, like Nissan Xterra or something like that. The Nissan and Infiniti are known for this kind of dash, but so many buttons and such a tiny screen. Now, I won't lie, this radio comes with a lot of important features. Let's see, I'm gonna put it in ignition, and check out that 360 camera with the front camera and also the reverse camera. That's actually pretty good. I like that a lot. But I think that's pretty much the only thing that is really good on this radio, and we're not going to lose it. We're not even going to lose the steering wheel controls, the backup camera. Nothing is going to be lost. These air vents, you see how they're on the side. We do not lose those. What we're going to do is that we're going to make the radio go a lot more up and grow in size, and the air vents are going to be here at the bottom. I'll show you guys what that looks like right now. Check out that head unit, man. That looks amazing. Not only is it very big, but also very OEM look. Sometimes companies fail when they go too big and it looks out of place. This looks original, especially with these buttons here. And this is what I was talking about, where it changes the interior because the air vents also change. So they plug into the original ones, as you can see, but then it guides them out towards the bottom and it gives you this new look with buttons. That looks beautiful, and everything is going to be plug and play. You get the T-harness here. This is what you're going to get in the package, the head unit and the harness. But yeah, I'm super excited to install this. Doesn't that look amazing? Of course, we're going to have some timestamps under the video, so you guys can go ahead and skip into the showcase. I'm going to show you guys how to remove the original radio, how to install the harnesses of this radio, and then how to install this radio. Of course, in the end, I'll show you guys the showcase of how it works, what it does, etc. But it's pretty much an Android video.
The first step in removing this radio is to remove the center console. On the shifter, we're going to push this latch down, and then you're going to see kind of like a metal ring here. You can get this out in many different ways, a flathead or kind of like the tool that I'm using. Once you get it loose, you can pull it out with your finger. Of course, you don't want to lose this. This is a very important piece, so you want to keep that safe. After you do that, the shifter just literally just pulls right out. That's simple. After you do that, you can now remove the center console piece. It's held in with clips. Nissan makes it very easy to work with. All you gotta do is just tug on it as I'm doing. Of course, be very careful and find the pressure points as I'm doing. All clips just like that. Once you have everything loose, you can now shift into drive. I recommend doing this in ignition. No reason to have the car on. This will give you a lot more play in order to remove the centerpiece. To fully remove it, you're gonna have two white male plugs on the bottom of the center console piece. Just go ahead and unplug those. Very simple. They have a tab at the top. You push that down. It gives you the ability to pull them out, and you're all set. You got the center console piece out. Up next, we're going to be removing these leather trims here. All you have to do is just tug on it as they're all clips. You can follow exactly how I'm doing. Removing these will give us a lot more playroom, and we'll also have a lot more access to screws that we have to remove. I recommend that you start from the bottom and work your way to the top, as I did. While recording this video, I was very confused on why it wouldn't come off. One thing to mention is that you do have to lift from the bottom towards the top because it's kind of hooked in. It's not a clip. Just have that in mind and do the same on the other side. Removing these panels will reveal a couple of Phillips screws. You can go ahead and remove those. Now we can go ahead and pull this trim off. Be very careful not to be rough with it, as there are some plugs on the back side. Go ahead and unplug those. Next step is going to be to remove the actual radio head unit, the CD player. We're going to go ahead and pop this panel loose. It has 2 clips on each corner. We're going to go ahead and pop those off. Once you do that, there's going to be 2 clips at the bottom. You can stick your hand under and go ahead and pop those loose as well, as so. And then of course on the back side, you're going to have a couple of plugs that you need to unplug. Go ahead and unplug all of those. If you're able to remove your panel by unplugging the harnesses, great for you. For some reason, there was one harness that did not want to unplug. Felt like it wanted to break rather than come off, so I just figured I'm going to just leave it there. So I'm going to put a towel on it, that way I don't scratch anything. Go ahead and remove the Phillips that are holding in the navigation trim. The screws aren't the only thing holding this in. There's going to be some clips in the back, so just go ahead and tug those free. And then now you'll have a better vision of these screws holding on to the actual display. Same thing here, you're going to have a couple of harnesses on the back of the display. Go ahead and push the latch down. After you do that, you can pull it out. If it's not coming off, then you can wiggle it left and right. That usually helps in making it loose. Once you do that, the final step is to remove the actual radio head unit. All we did was make it loose back then. I didn't remove it yet because I think there's something important to talk about here. With the radio, you see that there's this beige / cream box. I'm not sure how to explain it. That's an actual module, the one that I'm looking at right now with the big harness. What you're meant to do is you're meant to detach it from the bracket of the radio, because this module, if you disconnect that, you're going to get a whole bunch of codes on the dash, and I believe your AC is going to stop working. So what you have to do is just remove the clips and the harnesses off the bracket, as I'm doing, and the actual module, I think it's held in with a couple of Phillips. Unplug that. Once you do that, that's going to be left loose behind the radio. And the actual radio head unit, you can unplug those harnesses because we don't need the radio anymore. We're going to be fully replacing it, so just have that in mind.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so now that we remove the radio and we have everything loose, that way we can work and plug everything in, this is what comes in the package. Of course, the other thing would be the unit, but this is the harness. You have all your accessory harnesses on this side, and then you have the main harnesses. Now, you may see this and get very scared, like, damn, that's a lot of plugs, Junior. Luckily enough, we send you 3 different harnesses because one of them will match to your car. We do this because we don't want to send you the wrong harness, and then now you have to wait for China to send you the correct harness. It's a waste of time, so we just say, okay, just send them, all of them. So these are 3 different harnesses. The way it works is that you have to see which one applies to your car. Of course, each plug is uniquely shaped, so it's hard to plug in the wrong one. And then, of course, whichever harness works best with your car, where the plugs go in, then that's where you transfer over the CAN bus connector. So if this one works, then I leave the CAN bus here. If this one works, then I transfer over the CAN bus connector to here, etc. for the one back here. All right. So first, let's go ahead and bring these harnesses to the inside. We're going to work with this first, and then we'll work our way to the accessory harnesses. All right, so let me give you guys an idea of what the harness should look like. I know it looks a little all over the place right now. I'm trying to clean it up a little bit. This is going to be the main power. So I plugged in this one, and then towards here at the bottom, I think I plugged in like 3 different ones. I plugged in the antenna, right? The antenna, and then I plugged in this one right here. This throws out a backup camera, but we're not going to use this backup camera because I believe the backup camera is up there. But there's some kind of like CAN bus connection here that it might use. And then obviously I transferred over the CAN bus. Remember, I told you guys whichever one fits best, you want to use that one. Now, one thing to mention is that most of these plugs or most of these harnesses will plug in perfectly. It doesn't matter which one you choose, they will all plug in. So what I did was I looked at the tab, and it says 18. I use Google Translate because it still comes in Chinese, but it says 18 model, 4 liter, and then I think it says high end without wire, something like that. So it kind of made sense to me that this is gonna be the one because the other one says 16. So on top of that, I just checked all my connections. The backup camera seems to be coming out of here. The speakers. Let's see, let's find the speakers. The power wire. The power wire does match. See how it has this thick yellow wire? See that thick yellow and red wire? And then the thick brown, the thick black one, that's gonna be your ground. And as you can see, ground comes out of there. So the harness is matching on this end. That's something you can do to make sure that your harness matches as well. Not just plugging it in, but also seeing what comes out of the harness, what colors. And then the let's see, the speakers. As we know, the speakers are purple, green, white, and gray. It appears that the speakers also come out of this harness right here. All right, so you get your power, your ground, and your speakers out of here. And you get some CAN bus connections up here. So that's kind of like an idea of how to look into yours. If you have a 2018 what is it, I'm sorry, a Nissan Armada, there you go, I was gonna say Pathfinder. If you have a 2018 Nissan Armada, then this is kind of like what you should look for. All right, maybe if you have a 2016 one, then you would use a different harness. But it looks a little messy right now. I'm gonna clean it up, but I just wanted to show you guys real quick, step by step, on exactly what I'm doing. I don't want to skip into the future where I'm already done and tell you guys, oh, this is how it goes. No, I just want to do step by step. So I'll clean this up after, but just giving you guys an idea. And also this module stays inside. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier. This module stays inside because this is kind of like the brain of the vehicle. If you remove this, you're gonna get a whole bunch of holes in the dash. This is attached to the radio. You detach it to the radio's frame, and we're gonna hide that back here. All right, so we can toss these two harnesses to the side, and now we're gonna continue with the accessory wires. All right, so you're gonna grab your 6-pin USB port. 6-pin meaning there's 6 pins in the plug. There's gonna be another one that's gonna be a 4-pin, but we're not gonna use this one. We're gonna use the 6-pin one. All right, so the 6-pin one, this is considered to be an extra. You do not have to install this. I'm going to do it because it is my job to. But the USB end, we want to run it to the glove compartment. As you can see, I already ran the SIM card here that comes out of the main harness. There's actually like a huge gap here behind the glove compartment. Right here, see where my fingers are going, and that also heads into there. So let me see if I can show you guys my fingers. See my fingers here? So you can just pass the wiring through there. So let me get that done. I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. So there you go. This is what it should look like. Then it closes perfectly fine, and then the end, I ran it through here. Now let's talk about the 4-pin USB. This one, we're gonna use this 4-pin to recuperate the original USB that's there at the bottom. So with that, we're also going to, oh, whoops, didn't mean to pull those two together. These two together are going to attach to each other. So see how this one has a male and we have a female here? Go ahead and connect those like so. All right, and then you're going to have this female here. All right, this male plugs into the back of the radio, but this is going to plug into the original harness of the vehicle to recuperate the original USB. All right, and now we're talking about the GPS antenna. This one has to be stuck somewhere where there's nothing above it, like metal. Because it tends to struggle there. I see some people try to install it outside, like either stick it here or stick it on the windshield. Necessarily, that does not have to be done. You can hide it in here because it goes through leather, hard plastic, and window, aka the windshield. So you can have it inside or outside. No much of a difference if there's no metal. If there's metal above it, then obviously it's not going to get a lot of retention. So just have that in mind. Where I'm gonna put it is if you rub your fingers above the air vent. This place right here behind the radio, you'll see that it's nice and flat, and above it there's nothing metal. So you can stick it on there if you want, or you can run it wherever else you see that it most benefits you. But usually I do it here above the air vents. So there's nothing above here that's metal, it's just hard plastic and leather, so it'll go right through. So I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like. I'm not sure if you can see it up here, but that's where I stuck it. You can see the wiring following it through, but I stuck it above the air vent, right above here, nice and flat there, and it goes straight up through the windshield. So we're all set there. And of course, you want to lead the nut or the male outside. That way, when we're installing the radio, easy to screw it in. All right. I think we're only missing a couple things. Inside the packaging, you'll also get a microphone. Unfortunately, you do have to run this. I don't believe a company has been able to recuperate the original microphone of the vehicle yet. If it has one, I'm pretty sure it does, but it's a different signal. So in order to make sure that it works properly 100% of the time with clear audio, we recommend you to install this. What I do is that I run it and install it through here, the A pillar, have it sticking out and facing towards you, run the wiring down to the driver footwell, to the kick well, and then we just, with zip ties, keep it up above the driver footwell so it doesn't dangle, and then shoot it back up behind the radio. If anything, I'll show you, I'll do it myself, and then if you guys like the way it looks on mine, then you guys can do exactly what I did.
And there you go, there's an idea that you guys can copy. If you like the way it looks, I did it exactly how I said. Ran it down the A pillar, down the driver kick panel, and to the radio. Using zip ties does help keep the wire organized. I didn't get any footage of me installing it, but please do remember that you have to transfer over the silver bezel, the chrome piece that was way above the radio, the navigation display. I'll put a picture of that right now. I circled it in red for you guys, but go ahead and transfer that over now. We forgot to, so we had to remove the radio later on in the video. Here is us connecting all the plugs of the radio, and these are the two RCAs for the backup camera, the male and female. You can go ahead and pause to see if your plugs are plugged in properly. Like I said, we're installing it in a 2018 Nissan Armada. Maybe different if you have a different year or a different package. But this is kind of like a quick video to help you guys kind of troubleshoot. Maybe if something's not working properly, you maybe plugged it into the wrong plug, or you're missing or you're not plugging it in. So just go ahead and have this video for reference. This is how we installed our radio for this vehicle. Here are the USBs, the antennas, the main power, the speakers, the RCAs. The backup camera was in the beginning. Very simple. All right. Hopefully that may help some of you guys if you guys are having issues installing this piece. Remember, we removed the factory radio of this car, meaning you have a lot of space to work with in terms of wiring. You may be thinking, damn, where am I going to fit all that? You actually have a lot of space. And also, when you're hiding your harnesses, remember to leave out the harnesses that plug into the button / the control panel that kind of covers the original radio. Just do not forget to unplug that. And also don't forget to plug in the buttons at the bottom that come with this brand new head unit. We're going to go ahead and finish the installation, put everything back in together. Here is that silver / chrome piece that I told you guys that you do have to transfer over. We are completely done with the installation, but we had to pull it out because we forgot to do it. So just have that not happen to you. Of course, at this point in the moment, you want to go ahead and turn on the radio and make sure everything works properly before you start screwing everything in. Everything worked on my end, so I put everything back together and screwed it in. And boom, the best part of the video is the showcase. Check out that brand new unit, and like I said, it definitely gives it a more updated, modern look. It's not just swapping out the radio, but it also helps with making it look more modern in terms of the kit, bringing the or relocating the air vents towards the bottom, giving you two new buttons to work with, wireless CarPlay as you guys saw. The home page look a little gray here, but you can always just mess with the themes there. But yeah, and it comes with everything. You have your Android version 13 at the moment. I think it's 12 gigs with 128 RAM. Your factory car settings are not lost. And fun fact, the actual trim panel remains working, so you can tap on these and you can still see that everything works properly. You have your climate control up there, kind of like as a display. You can also control it here as well. It's not just a display, but you can also use the digital version to control your AC. You can see that everything is working properly. You can change that from Celsius to Fahrenheit, depending on where you're at. The button in the middle, you can see that that works. That's not cosmetic. It actually, does something. And the air vents are perfectly functional. Those work perfectly fine. Hard plastic, not flimsy, so they're not going to be breaking anytime soon. But yeah, you can see that this is a very beautiful radio. Definitely does fit this car very well. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, sometimes when you go too big for these radios, it looks out of place and it doesn't look good. But this radio is specifically made for this car, so it's made to give it that OEM look. As you can see, the 360 camera works perfectly fine when he's reversing. And then of course the hazard in the middle, that also still works. Now a little more specific on the control panel where all the buttons are at. Not all of them are going to work, just because some functions are like specifically made for the older radio. Since this is a newer radio, it has newer functions, so you can see that some of the buttons are working as they should. If it says like aux or AM or something, like, obviously the Android radio doesn't have that feature, so it's not going to be doing anything like that. And then the volume controls, you can see that that works. The harness, if you do everything properly, the harness and the CAN bus will take care of all the hard work. It'll take care of decoding the 360 camera, the reverse trigger, and also the steering wheel controls. No programming needed. Unfortunately, I can't have you guys listen to the music, but it sounds very good, almost better than the original. The speakers are still original, so it's not going to be a grand difference, but since the equalizer has a lot more segments, you get a lot more play, and you can get very down to each frequency on how you like your music. So in a sense, it does sound better. But yeah, you can give it some Wi-Fi since it's an Android radio and watch YouTube videos. Of course, do not do this while you're driving. Here is the outdated version that we started out with, and then we went ahead and upgraded to something beautiful. That's a tiny showcase of this radio. The link will be in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's a very simple showcase in how to install this beautiful Android radio for this Nissan Armada.